Atisha 먼저 다 상유점된 대기 안에 지 소소랑랑기 안내마 냠낸 나지 안에 최담제 랑기 라신이 마주바 또 얘네 라신이 마주바이네야 최담제 뢰파샤삼 또베 다삼 용원이 여바디 상유점된 대기 그런 게 세시 냠낸 나 대내 상유고방 톱 대내 안에야 지 왕거조아 아주 심절이야 디기주비에 동화세기 도날이야 안선 상유점내마 마노 마추바지 마송샤바디 안는 안소리야 델이야 안주그 롭정시 퇴바제 안는 삼바제 곰냠네 제바이나 안는 코위기 꿰 남제 빵투구리에스 가르에서나 안에 코위 꿰 용야위 규소 다제 마리바디 빵투고레스 안에 대엔자 안는 안주기 델이야 덴디기 담 남샤 삼다제 안는 다음에 라시 마주바 또베기 또야게 탑려야 비즈 제고를 해야지 대시쇼게 디고 마시바시로.
Good afternoon. So this morning we looked at a couple of verses wherein we're encouraged to practice in exactly the same way as the being that became Buddha Shakyamuni did. And in particular, to come to see how that all phenomena without exception do not exist inherently. They may appear to our mind as if they are inherently existent, but all phenomena are empty of inherent existence, yet exist as mere imputations by mind. So we are encouraged to train in the same way that Buddha Shakyamuni trained. And how to do so? This is something we're also coming to know because Buddha Shakyamuni, motivated by love and compassion for suffering beings, taught the complete and unmistaken method by which we can come to see that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence, but exist merely as imputations by mind. And moreover, through coming to understand this, we can, through developing this understanding within ourselves, we will be able to reduce the suffering that we experience, reduce the strength of the causes for suffering that we accumulate, and eventually be able to attain liberation from suffering in its entirety. And this statement is not a mere expression of faith, but rather it is something based on reasons based in logic or logical reasons. And this is that the root cause of all our suffering has been clearly identified, and that is the ignorance of self-grasping. And through developing the mind that is completely contrary to that, the wisdom that realizes emptiness, in that way we can eventually eliminate the cause of all our suffering. So therefore this morning we were encouraged to strive to develop this wisdom realizing the emptiness of inherent existence within ourselves.
요게 땡지게 남자 삼다제 nga 세디 nga 라신 주발로라 nga 좀 나요도 nga디 아니 갈래 되고 매바 아니 지 교육이나 드라마데가 랑문도 주바 난거레스 다디가 저기 땡지게 남자 삼다지 제바제도 간점 지기야 되네기 나에 nga디 자오기 매바 동상지만 도는 거레스 되네 토디가블라 네 nga 라신이 마주바 세디 도고요 동이 도고레스 기셰로
We then also spoke about how to engage in the meditation on dependent arising. The first seeing how the object, such as the self, appears to the mind. And we come together, when we get a feeling for how the self appears, we see that it appears as if it were self-existent. And being self-existent or inherently existent means it appears as if it is, firstly, independent, so nothing at all can influence it. And secondly, it appears as if it is unchanging. So if the object, such as the self, existed in this way, self-existently, it should be findable. So then we are encouraged in the next step of the meditation to seek out the self, to look for it. And having looked in the aggregates, in the physical and mental aggregates, we come to find that the self is empty of existing inherently, or it's empty of being self-existent. And in this way, we come to realize emptiness. The mind that realizes emptiness is the wisdom realizing emptiness.
동상시 통도 내 담보 또한 딜로디 동유도 베게 제바 참아서 제바 무슨 참아 제바 차서로와 동유도
Plötzlich habe ich so ein Indizik down to drink it. Okay, do something. Yeah.
제바제네 나와 나신 두에 제바치네 가슴 질이야. 는 가야 나와 나신 직 자오기네 매바 동상아지 동노도 안에 되니게 나데 많이 봐제 나 나신 주베 동베 동상 도고래 대 동이 또 봤어. 당보 통한데 대 동이 또베 당보도 베 체마데 또 봐래. 제바 체마스 또 봐래.
When one has been engaging in this meditation, seeking the inherently existent self for quite some time, one will eventually come to, whilst one will repeatedly come to the realization that the self doesn't appear, the self doesn't exist in the way that it appears, and the self is empty of existing in the way that it appears. Through repeated familiarity and the development of our wisdom and accumulation of merit, we'll eventually come to a mind of sufficient strength that it can be called a realization, a mind that realizes that the self is being empty of inherent existence. This initial realization then is a particular mind, which is a mind called a cognizer, and the particular cognizer is an inferentially valid cognizer. So this inferential valid cognition is a mind that realizes emptiness. So the initial realization of emptiness is an inferential valid cognition. So to this mind, the inferential valid cognizer, what appears to this mind whilst emptiness is being realized? Emptiness appears, and the mental image, or sometimes translated as the meaning generality. So emptiness and the mental image of emptiness, these two appear. This appears, so with the wisdom realizing emptiness, that is this initial realization that is an inferential valid cognizer. What appears to this wisdom, which is the inferential valid cognizer, is emptiness together with the mental image of emptiness. So this is in answer to a written question that was received earlier. So when one has this realization of emptiness, where the mind is an inferential valid cognizer, then this mind that has realized emptiness, what doesn't appear to the mind is the inherently existent self, or the truly existent self, because the yogi has been meditating and come to see that the self appears as inherently existent, and then they realize it doesn't exist inherently, it is empty of inherent existence. So no inherently existent self appears, rather emptiness appears. But not emptiness alone, emptiness and the mental image of emptiness, these two appear to this inferential valid cognizer.
동이 되지 난거 맨날 와서다 동이 무슨 또도 데니게 동이 동어서 로데라 동이 나요도 다 동이 데마주가 유네 난거 말에 데마주가 나는거 말에 동이 된지 난거 말에 그래서 데라 동이 무슨 또 베기 다 바베기 이게 동이 무슨 비 켐바데라 안 동이 난거 말도 동이 데마주가 난거 말에 동이 된지 난거 말에 지래.
Then the yogi now who has attained an inferential valid cognizer on emptiness and has a realization of emptiness will continue to make great effort to develop the strength of this realization, to develop the strength of this wisdom realizing emptiness. And slowly through repeated meditation, the power of this mind it develops, the power of the realization develops, and eventually they will progress beyond being attaining an inferential realization of emptiness and attain a direct realization of emptiness. So this mind, this initial realization, is a mind called a cognizer, and it's an inferentially valid cognizer, which means in meditation what appears is emptiness together with the mental image of emptiness. Now as this strength of mind develops and a direct realization is eventually attained, this mind is also called a cognizer, it's also called a valid cognizer, but now it's a direct valid cognizer. And with a direct valid cognizer, in the continuum of a being, this being then becomes an Arya being, or a noble being, and they've attained an Arya path or a noble path in their continuum. And how does this direct valid cognizer differ from the inferential valid cognizer? So emptiness is seen directly, not inferentially, which means when it's seen directly, it is not mixed with a mental image. It is emptiness and emptiness alone that appears to the mind. The mind that is meditating directly on emptiness, only emptiness appears to that mind. So this direct valid cognizer, only emptiness appears to it, where emptiness of inherent existence. Whereas the inferential valid cognizer, emptiness of inherent existence mixed with the mental image of emptiness appears.
Dadine Geshe Sawadina Dadine Emao Kebe Dini Kebara Kondo Chugurba Dese Gangi Koneni Kyola Jigur Jishir Gumi Gurse.
Now we can start with the 33rd verse. Amazing, when the wise fully comprehend the distinction between these two, how could they not at that point revere you from the very depths of their being?
nga sibe nga rashi juba zimbe zimba diresha jesa nga rashi juba zimbe zimba di payan bi nyembo tela tongyo tube sherap se songshas jesa tongyo tube sherap di toyala tenjin dewa chungwa samta che tenjin dewa chungwa thone ane tongyo tube sherap tenjin dewa chungwa tenjin dewa chungwa sa ane nyembo ba ke yuzo di Rashi Juba Zimba Ngazin Zimba Reshas. Di Payala and the Rashi Maduba Tobeto, Tongi to Lodi Comne Pangores. Cisa Rashi Maduba Tobetongi Tobala, Rashi Madua Togorua, Cisa Dito get Tablam Della, and Tianjin Jawaju, Namsha, Sonshas. Cisa Denigi Sunia, Denigi Namsha Sumbiga Lam, Denigi Yamlen Jeje, and Jevaina Nato Yumoba. Kovi기 Gyuen Chasa, Bane Tarbata, Tamje Kimbo Goba Top Tugudus, the Nigger Sanji Sua de Lam Yamne Soa, Yawashu, Hansa Yawashu, Sigor Dagas, Yamaho said, Hansa was Benji Yawashu, such a Hansa Halevars.
This first term that we have here is amazing, can be expressed perhaps as wondrous, so in Tibetan, Emaho. So this then, what is being, to what is amazement being expressed? So this is amazement is being expressed through the realization within the Buddha's continuum of this direct antidote to all the afflicted minds as wisdom realizing the emptiness of inherent existence. So as we've heard previously, that the cause of our remaining trapped and bound within the suffering states of cyclic existence is this grasping at inherent existence, in particular that the self, grasping at the self as being inherently existent or truly existent. This is the root cause of all our suffering. And this can only be abandoned through cultivating the directly contradictory mind, the wisdom that realizing the emptiness of inherent existence. So to eliminate the root cause of our suffering, the ignorance grasping at inherent existence, we need to realize the wisdom realizing the emptiness of inherent existence. And this is done through the presentation of undependent arising, the cultivating developing one's wisdom through meditating on the techniques as presented in the presentation on dependent arising. In this way, one comes to realize the direct antidote to all our suffering, and in this way, all the faults of samsara can be completely destroyed.
KB dingi ne kebar kondu shubar gyurusene keba sela yondu gare keba relamna ta sangye jumnen de ge song shabe ge denjin jawa juwe namsha delma anachik sosuge tyobache tyobe donya samda denigi anchige samda ne jebache ne denigi nisude denjige namsha ani sosuge rarangi chemengeba niyodu deni kaba shagro dendige namshala kaba 지산 deni sanji jumden digi dendige namsha ngarang juge nyomo ba paya ge twandala rashin maruba jimbe jimbadi rashin ruba jimbe jimbadi bango gore dinyen bola ani rashin maruba tonyi to gore den to bala tablamdi dendige namsha sonsha ba denigi jeba jeje ani ji kaba ji dendige namsha soso라는 게 체명해 봐 니어도 ni kaba Keba desugi deni kebanza, and keba desugi garsozi, dinigi sidim, Jena Dumba Sanye Jumden digi, Dumba dan, and Sanye Jumden dele, and Tawa, and between bigi, Chiru bigi, Dumba digi, Keba di, Seva Hago to go, Sangele ya, and Denigi, Rashi Majuba, Topig, Tablam, Yoba, King Yoba dan, Yenden Yoba, and King Yoba dan, and it. 양직에 상유 줌는 디기 다지기 따위 남샤래 치료 로소게 치료비게 되니게 된발이야 되니 킹이 매바장 아니 상유 줌는 디기 캠바 나신제 그런게 아니 잠지 원게 샹이야 아니 지기 된디게 남샤 동윤도에 탑에 동윤도베게 탑람 된다 잠지기 잠지 권에 된디게 남샤 송샤바디 아니 상유 줌는 데리 그런게 खे Yunde Denish do, Cisa Sanyu Jumle Kemba Nashi, Razule, Disus, Dendig, Namshi, Densha, Denigi, Demba, Demba, Dinganzo, Yamin Chevan, Denidi, Umudu Sene, and how to Gores, Kabatigi. And Cisa da Sanyu Jumle de Tawigi, that Tawinam Kasore, Tawa, Chirubigi, Rosu, Chirubai Digi, and Dendig Namshadi. 다 said 다도 주바의 killing 마도 다 매바 said cross king minus 지사 다 매마케 맞아 다 매바 주역이 땡지게 남샤디 하고 두고 민ус 지사 되네 인자 아니 상계 좀 된 데다 아니 상계 좀 된 디기 치료비 땜바 니랴 땜비 캬바 여바다 아니 되네게 송비게 최들이야 캬바 여바디 아니 cross 주고 콘도 주그레스 하고 그래서 또 두고래 지래 개비 니게 캬바 콘도 주버 주르스
Looking at the first two lines together, amazing when the wise fully comprehend the distinction between these two. So first of all, the wise, then this refers to those who are learned and experienced, who engage in the meditations as presented by the Buddha. So in other words, those who have developed knowledge in the Buddha Dharma, as well as experience based on that knowledge, through reflecting and meditating on what the teachings that they have received. So they come to understand to understand experientially the truth of the Buddha's teachings. It's not just a mere intellectual understanding based on logical reasoning, but that intellectual understanding based on logical reasoning has been developed to the point of experience. So with such an experience, they are suitable to be called the wise. And moreover, they are then able to distinguish between these two. And these two here then refer to the one founder teacher who has taught this complete and unmistaken path to eliminate the cause of all suffering, and the other teachers, the other founder teachers who have not taught a complete and unmistaken path for the attainment of lasting happiness. So these people, these wise practitioners, so the wise refer to those with knowledge and experience based on that knowledge, they've come to see that it's only the Buddha who, motivated by love and compassion, and this love and who were motivated by love and compassion, taught based on his love and experience the nature of reality. He taught about selflessness. He taught about the emptiness of inherent existence. And no other teacher does that. No other teacher has been able to teach on selflessness and emptiness of inherent existence in a complete and unmistaken manner, because no other teacher has that realization. And not having realized it, and not having the knowledge of selflessness and emptiness, they are unable to teach. So therefore, these first two lines refer to those who are well versed in the Buddha Dharma and have internalized it. And they, based on this knowledge and experience, they are able to distinguish between the valid teachings and the path that are presented by Buddha Shakyamuni and the mistaken paths that others present.
지사 데니게 개발남기 안에 직도 제바 제제 안에 지게 사이기 연된다 안에 사이 취기 연된 두세 연된 통도 대지 사이 된바다 된바 현이 나네 안에 된비기 연된 개발 여바 통 안에 된송셰베 취되려야 안에 뉴바다 연된 개발 여바 통도 안 통한자 안들야 대세 관계 권인이 켜라 지시를 구미 교르세도 셈딩기 안에 상여 좀낸 될야 데니기 연된 통화에서 셈딩기 상여 좀낸 대다 상여 좀낸이 숭배기 최될야 대바기 그래서 고바기 거래서 제가 관계 세대 셈딩기 소리 니네 안에 대바기 그래서 공네 안 켜라 지시를 구미 교르세 가능신에 대바마지에 라와요 말했어. 대바마지에 가능스 마지와 연구했어. 진짜 라와메바 되어지 그래서 오라. 결례 지시 구미기를 써야 돼.
Looking at the rest of the verse, how could they not at that point revere you from the very depths of their being? So as it says, these wise practitioners who have come to understand and internalize the Buddha Dharma, they have clearly seen the difference in the qualities between the founder Buddha, Buddha Shakyamuni, as well as other teachers of other philosophical views. And not only have they come to see the difference in the propounders, but also in what they propound in their teachings. So the difference between the Buddha Dharma and other presentations is unmistakably apparent to them. So therefore, without any freedom, spontaneously, from the very depths of their being, they would give rise to trust and faith in the Buddha and his teachings.
데니 자다 단다라 가르순고라서네 근데 상여 줌nen데 제 때문에 전에 지금 상여 줌nen데 상여 줌nen이 그런 취 충분히 취해 될야 집변 마서 하사의 연된 개발쇼지 레샤세데 하사야지 할래바시 레샤세다 안데니 자 아니 개발 남주전데 얘기 상지 송제베 될라 취해될라 퇴바지 데니 되는 안에야도 삼당 Dengi nesu de chasan ha goyodu and Sanya Jimnelia dingi and Devaki Gores, Che Devaki Gores, Chesa Sanji Dembada, Nang Dembada, Shengi Dembiki, Kabar Hako to Gore, and Shengi Demba Sumbi Cheda, Sanji Sunju Chegi, Chele, Nubi, Kabar Yobada Hako to Gore, Chesa. Yunden dinner how go on do Sangilia, Yunden dinner Yabata, Sanyu Sungu Chedelia, and Manzo Chigiduma Seata, Digidu, Nuba dinner Yudu, and the Sanyu Jimden Deda, Sanyu Jimden Chedelia, Rawa Meba, and the Deba, Shukchimbo, Deba Timbu, and Gubaki got Ezire.
The meaning of this verse then is that those who have over a sustained period come to study and gain quite some understanding of the Buddha Dharma, and not merely intellectually but also internalize that and given rise to experience of the Buddha Dharma. So those who could be called wise, they, based on this knowledge and experience, have come to see the incomparable, the amazing qualities of both the Buddha Dharma as well as the founder Buddha who taught the Buddha Dharma. And they have come to see manifestly, or rather they've come to see clearly the difference in quality between the Buddha Shakyamuni and his Buddha Dharma and his teachings and those of other traditions. And this has come about in dependence on receiving many teachings and reflecting repeatedly over a sustained period on those teachings. That is the basis that it has given rise to this feeling of amazement and wonder towards the Buddha and his teachings. And this feeling of amazement and wonder, this arises within them spontaneously, based on their knowledge and their experience of that knowledge.
Gyuadra Maras, Chesan Debadia, Shuk Church, Gyuadro, Drea Marwas, Chesan Yunden Matawache, Denigi Tonche, Debatilla, Shine Debas or Shine Yunden, how can it Deba Kiwarwa, Chesan Deba Timbure, Chesan Jugida, Deni Yunden Matawa, Japores and Jejine, and Mishanda Chica, or the Chichi, Kunje, and Lamsang, Semper Gushu, Guru, Chesadina to Monte said, the Deba Timbu, Maras order.
Shivi Depa, Sumbimbe, Shivi Depa.
Shini Depa.
Shini
Depa Topas. Shebas and how.
She's a how good, I didn't go so. Yeah. Why is this so important? Well, faith, we often hear about the importance of faith. So there are many different kinds of faith. And the kind of faith that is being referred to here is not perhaps a faith that one came into this world with, or a blind faith based on what one has heard from others or from one's upbringing. But this is a faith that has arisen based on knowledge and experience. And this knowledge and experience of the Buddha Dharma, this leads to a understanding in the power and the benefits of the Buddha Dharma. And this faith that arises based on knowledge and experience, this is not only far more powerful, but this faith is stable and it's unchanging, and not and cannot be influenced by influence in an adverse way by others. So this faith is a type of faith called a knowledge-based faith. So it's not a blind faith that one may have from inference or from one's upbringing, but this is a faith that has a far more powerful and therefore stable basis.
Sangyu Jumden Digi, Sangyu Jumden Deda, Sangyu Jumden Digi, Chedele, Bimas, Hansai, Yunden, Haleva Rishas, Tizan Keba Namju, Demba Digi, Jebacha, Hakuhan Digi, Yunden Tongan Digi, and the Rama, but they were Kili Essage, Son Sarva, so and Zadang, to the Karabin Gorlana, the Sosu Inea, Kyozi Inea, and Sangyu Jumden Delia, and Debat tempoyata and chicken, San Jumdi Chig, and then Delia, and the Debagelia, Chicken, Tony, Debagio Wores, Chisan Tongo Wanza, Toalia, and the Jabachi Wores, Sanji Sumbi Chedelia, and the Yane Yan the Tubi, then Sanji Sunji Chedelia, Yana and the Tu, Yana and the Tune, and Dunda de Liane and some Dani, Dana, Dunda de and never need is. Chesang never need sending you do all that is on you so only Resha, some big Debatimbushun Gores. Chesang San Yu Jumden, San Yu Jumden, San Yu Jumden, Chulia, Debatimbush Gores, Dikabala, San Yu Jumden Chulia, and Tebaya Wachi, and then D. Dundala Yana and some Dunda, some Dundagi, the sending ever need to watch your Gores.
The reason Rinpoche composed this verse is in the first part, or in this verse, he's making the point that those who are knowledgeable and experienced in the Buddha Dharma, so those who have heard many teachings and applied those teachings to themselves, those who have taken the teachings as personal advice and implemented them in the way that they have been trained, they have given rise to experience based on knowledge. So these wise practitioners, they, due to their experience based on knowledge, have given rise in an uncontrolled manner to wonder and awe in the Buddha himself and his teachings. And from this, a very powerful and stable faith has arisen. And this faith is of great importance, because due to the power of this faith, their wish to strive in cultivating the Buddha Dharma ever further, this is that much greater. In other words, a joyous perseverance. That mind is much stronger due to the power of faith that they have generated. A faith of having gained conviction or certainty in the validity of the Buddha Dharma. And that validity, this gaining certainty in the validity of the Buddha Dharma, this has come about through receiving many teachings and reflecting on these teachings repeatedly over a sustained period. So Geshe Rinpoche here is sharing this with us so as to add further encouragement for us to continue to receive teachings and to take every opportunity that we can to receive teachings and reflect on them.
Jerem Jokoine and the San Yujim Nendigi, Sonship Chelia, Tevache, Sambache, Duchinen Deva, Gehele, Duchinen, Cherry is the consulate in the Chehures Gorva, Chesina, the name Zangazuke, Sanji, Yenden, Yende, Tone, Deva, Kivana, that Yawashu, Yenden, Tone, the Bay, Sambana, there, Deva, Deva, Di Shukin Jene, Nanzuki, Yamlin Chelia, and the Tundiki Gore. Then the new Yamlin Jella, Dunyo Kigore, Dunyo, the other Jehu, some Lehura, Dunyo the Kiado, or that Dunyo the Jawadi, Zumbi, Zunduki, Jene Zunduki Kiado, and then I to get Jawadi, Zundu Mutine, do Kiado, then I to Yamlin Chiado, then the Tobiki, Yamyo, and the answer the Kiyon, Kiana, Kiado, then I to Tabata, Tamjiki, Tovatolia, Tanya, Ruor,
Rinpoche then is encouraging us here to train like the founder Buddha himself trained, to train like he, the author of this text, Rinpoche, trained, to train how all the other wise practitioners have trained. And we should do so that we can give rise to this stable faith, this faith that is based on knowledge and experience, because this faith then results in our mind of joyous perseverance becoming incredibly powerful. And this mind of joyous perseverance then serves to turn our entire focus onto striving to achieve the goals of the Buddha Dharma. We become then single-pointed in striving to realize the various goals of the Buddha Dharma. So this wish of striving to realize the meaning of the Buddha Dharma will be overwhelming within us. And this will then serve to ensure that this opportunity that we have attained, we use incredibly well. And through this great effort, and this effort that's infused with joy and delight, we can be sure that the attainment of liberation and even omniscience will quickly approach.
Lama Chiline, Chiteva Shevache, and Jigan Wanga Shuchera Shubine, and Mishanda Jigi Lama de Kunju Chiadovina, then the Odati Lama de Kunji, Lama de Canena, some Jans, and Deva Lord Royata, the Nungurwa, Chesaji, and Dendi, Tata, Timing, Eba Maneva, to Deva de Dimbungo Mara, the Enzada, San Yujum, Dea, Chile, the Jag, Daniel Shuchambo Shuchik. Nele Madubadia, Sanjigi, Sanjele, Devada, and the Sanjigi, Chelia, Devati, Tembuchi, Le Matuara, Matu Genti Ungores, the Nenza, Sanji Yunden Tona, de la Devaligres, the Yunden Toyalaya, Dambo, Teje, Sambachi, Dusiana, and some Dangures, the Nenza, and Devatimukia, Kishimarishas.
To give rise to faith based on knowledge and experience is something very important, because this faith is incomparable to the faith that practitioners have before this. This faith is stable, it's powerful, and it serves to make one strive to become just like the object of one's faith. And this faith comes about independent on one's own experience based on knowledge. When one gives rise to faith like this, then we cannot be adversely influenced by others. So, for example, if we are relying on a qualified teacher, and this teacher with skill and care is guiding us in our spiritual development, but we are still beginners, we are easily influenceable by others. So our friends, our companions may criticize our teacher. Despite our teacher being qualified, they just see faults and communicate or share those faults they perceive to us. And that then serves us to become separated from our teacher, and thereby separated from a being with whom we have a good connection with, a good karmic connection with, and who can be of great positive potential to us. So this can easily happen if our faith is weak. But when our faith is based on experience that has come from knowledge, that faith is stable, that faith is firm, and adds great strength to our virtuous endeavors.
Now we start
the 34th verse. Why mention your numerous teachings when finding even the vaguest of certainties in the meaning of just a single part of a statement brings supreme bliss?
Sanyo Chumen Digi, Sun Shebigi, Che, Mongolia, and a Dumas the Mongosura, the Nigi, Mongolia, Tursam Che, and the Turba Mongoche, Turne, the Nigi, Donati, Yane, Yado, some the Nigi Jebenda, Jigge, Sanyo Chumen Delia, Debakia, and then to Yumomba, Sealia, and the Jig, she were Mares, and the Debater home, Balea, and Juki. Numa Sealia, and you Kyopo say Tualia, and the Shawayo Maresura. They say 2 good years over that. To pass our Maresura that.
Yeah, the Chicken Dampotanipa. Okay. So looking at the first line, why mention your numerous teachings? So this here is it's a way of saying that something is really obvious. And what is being said as something that is so obvious that it hardly needs mentioning is that if one reflects just on dependent arising and sees the great benefit that dependent arising has, and therefore the great, the unmistaken path that the Buddha presented and that the Buddha Dharma is unmistaken, this then leads to faith arising based on one's knowledge and experience. If this is the case with just this teaching on dependent arising, then it goes without mention that this is of course the case with a vast array of teachings that the Buddha gave. The more that one teachings that one has received on a vaster array of topics, as well as put them, gained experience of them through reflection, then this spontaneous arisal of faith will come about ever more powerfully. And this should be something quite obvious, because if it's a case with one teaching, it will be the case with many more too.
이게 손셰비 최망보다 베네텐지게 남자 손셰 여다드네 잠니제 발신 주게 냠년 거 마손셰 상계 최망보야 직 망보퇴 되니게 최야다 림바 망보최 나가 망보여 수 야네 양도 퇴하다 되니게 퇴배 된데라 야네 양도 섬다 되니게 된다 하고네 된데라 검제 안에지게 아들 돈이라 마스 돈이 온스는 또 받아 되니게 파베 고바 토바이네다 지자 산지요 고바 토발에 뺀마세 타니오 최고레스 지자 되니게 토반 냠는 제바다 안에 산지요 고바 토야리아 타니오 슈 최고레지레.
So the Buddha, as we know, has given a vast array of teachings on a vast array of topics. So we hear primarily or explicitly looking at those on dependent arising, but he's also taught on love and compassion and the six perfections. So a vast array of teachings. And the more teachings one receives, as well as reflecting on the meaning, more rapidly one will attain realization of those teachings, and even attain a direct realization of emptiness, develop, as mentioned earlier, a direct valid cognizer of realizing emptiness, and attain the Arya, become an Arya being, attain an Arya ground, Arya path. And as one progresses in this way, and one sees the transformation within oneself, then certainty arises that the attainment of the omniscient state of Buddhahood itself is rapidly approaching.
근데 최시의 단점랑 월지점 영향에 봐서라. 지사다 산지의 송다 중 차상이야 즉 퇴섬 제마업이네. 안데 산지의 송셰비기 덴지기 남샤 덴셰비 중 지리야 중 차시 가시지리야 차시에서 되다 중앙부 예배 나네. 안데 덴지기 남샤 덴셰비기 덴지기 더 지리야 아는 가서 퇴바치 디 퇴바치네 디 돈다라 안데 야네 야도 삼당 and the some and the some Tomani and the Rapa, so the Denjitsuki Toba, Nosmi Tomato Bane, Denjitsuki Toba ina, so the Wilgisam Toba, the Rapa, Denjitan Jivi Tone, and Tomani Toba ina, so
Looking at the next two lines, when finding even the vaguest of certainties in the meaning of just a single part of a statement. So what this then refers to is that whatever understanding one has gained in this topic of dependent arising, don't for a moment think, oh, I only know a little bit, what can I do with this? Whatever our understanding is, repeatedly reflect on this. Come to gain certainty of whatever understanding you have. Use this for your reflection so that the realization of it arises within oneself. And we heard last night how one can reflect on dependent arising even when the presentation is very coarse or very rough. This can be used to transform one's way of thinking, and moreover, it will enable one to approach a realization of emptiness. And certainly, yes, that such a realization would be a coarse realization or a subtle realization, but perhaps would even be a realization where that, like we heard earlier, where one realizes emptiness mixed together with a mental image. So this too is possible if one starts out reflecting on whatever understanding one has on dependent arising, even if it's just the vaguest of understanding of just a small part of this profound teaching on dependent arising, through reflecting repeatedly on that, one's realization of emptiness will approach.
Dela Chogi Devaters. Chisanda, Dela Chogi Devaters, Layon Sonyodu, Chisa, Mazuki, Sanju Jimden Diki, that Son Shebi, and Jiki Chashi, and Tendigan Namcha Son Shebi, do Denichilia, Tesamje, Dende Yanda Yando, Sam Daje, and Tony, Dombani, and Denji Zambi, Denji Suki, Toba Inaya. Mosum to Tuba, Mosum Toba in that, that's on your Tawala Tanya, Yimba, Shekwa, Mares. Just on Dungism, you talk about only to be shared of Gulakeva Inaya, and Dela, Diam Chogi, Devater, Chogi, Deva, Sanjikuba, Toyalia, and the Tanya to Buri, yesterday.
This is further reflected in the final line, brings supreme bliss. So the meaning here, that the way to understand this final line is that, as we've been hearing, whatever understanding one has of the presentation of dependent arising, don't leave that as a mere intellectual understanding, but apply it in reflection. So continue to and moreover continue to receive further and further teachings, and continue to reflect on these. And in this way, one's understanding of emptiness of dependent arising will develop through receiving further teachings, and the internalization of that understanding will develop through the repeated reflection on these teachings. So don't think that whatever one's understanding is, it's of very little value. That is a complete misunderstanding. Through reflecting on what one understands, and a realization of emptiness will approach, and perhaps even a realization that is mixed with a mental image. And when one attains such a realization, whilst it's called a coarse realization, the confidence that will come with this is that one knows that Buddhahood itself is approaching. And then specifically to this fourth line, the supreme bliss of Buddhahood, that is approaching.
Chogi Deva, Chogi Deva said, the Sanjikuba, Tobaina, Dengi Deva, Yuameva Deva, Deva, Nane, Dile, Choto, Yuba, Meva, Chogi Deva, Sandy, and Toyala Tanya, Rukuras, Karre, Labna, Dongi Tobi, Dunjisam, Dongi Dunjitsu, Toba Inaya, Doyodu, and then Yumoti, you, and say you did she. Nga sebanga rashing to but Zimba Delia, Nugores, they shook chun dangores, Chesandima, shook chun dangores, and they shook chur down do the Sanjoko Toyalia Tanya Rugore, Chesan Chogi, Deva Toyalia Tanya Rugore, on the Nisum.
What's being presented here is that the supreme bliss of Buddhahood, the bliss that is stable and unchanging, the attainment of this blissful state of Buddhahood, this is nearing. And this, one gains certainty of this as one's understanding of the emptiness of inherent existence develops through one's development of one's understanding that all phenomena lack inherent existence but are mere dependent arisings. And so when we come then to actually realize emptiness, and as we heard earlier, realize it, the realization of such a realization of emptiness wouldn't be direct, it will be mixed with a mental image. But already then, our ignorance of self-grasping will weaken significantly. And therefore, everything that results from the ignorance of self-grasping, the afflictions that cause so much harm, and the contaminated karma that's accumulated, this too weakens. And this then gives one an unshakable confidence that the exalted state of Buddhahood, the state of supreme bliss, this is nearing.
Rashi Drupa Zimba the Lord Lokshe Notru Re, Chesa Yomomake, Guchasan Kore, Chesa Ko Notru Yimbanzang, Ko, and Yudan Gila Dene, Ko Mebaso Badi, Tongor, Yudan Gila de Mebaso Tongor. Mebaso about the Tonga Banza, Deni, Shensemje Tamje, Duma, Ye, the Karasana, Rang chasing ye, Rang, Rashi Drupa Zimba Delatine Kigdus, Diwangi Lesa that. Deni Zimba ke yomo buye ke gu Zimba mewa soya du samje deni haba do deni ge ane samje ja sen shen samje la ya ane jamze ke tu re je le dong to ba yin na ane shen samje la ya ane jamze shukche ke tu re se jiza shukche ke tu ba yin za ane rang ge jamze shukche ma ke ya du rang li shen le zewe samba da Jembe somebody shukchim bledu, Sosulia, and Jike Ranchizing Tone, Numa, Yea, the Nundurova, Teneza, Chodu Deva, Tugre, Sadi, Ralaya, and Chikdewa, and the Toyada, Shen Simgelinea, and Jamniji Tone, Pember Dumodu, Shen Simgel, Chut, and Desuinea, and the Tabata Tamjikim Govalia, go Tugre, Sachi, that the nation.
This one continues to receive teachings, and whilst receiving teachings on topics such as dependent arising, one engages in repeated reflection on these topics, and mentally engaging with these topics both on the meditation cushion and throughout the day, as we heard last night. Our understanding of the meditation topic in this instance, that all phenomena are dependent arisings, nothing exists inherently at all, this will deepen. And not just in the mere intellectual understanding, but in its application within our daily life. We will come to gain conviction through experience that everything that appears to our mind appears in a way that it doesn't exist. We will come to gain conviction that everything that appears to our mind, that appearance is mistaken, in that it doesn't exist in this way. And that will have a profound impact on how we engage in the world. Will have a profound impact on how we engage in the world in the sense of the afflictions that lead us to engage in a harmful manner will be greatly weakened. And moreover, we'll come to understand that this root cause of all our afflicted minds is ignorance of self-grasping, that this is a wrong consciousness. It is not in accordance with reality, it is a wrong consciousness. And this wrong consciousness, it too is a dependent arising. It is not inherently existence, it's empty of inherent existence. And being a dependent arising, it means it is not independent. And why is this so important? If something is a dependent arising, it is influenced by others. So therefore, this ignorance of self-grasping is influenced by others. And what is the other here? It is the wisdom realizing emptiness. So here one gains ever stronger conviction that the wisdom realizing emptiness can and will destroy the root cause of all our suffering. So in this way, one gains ever greater confidence in the path, applies oneself ever more so to one's meditation and study. And as one does so, one's realization of these topics grows ever more profound. And then moreover, as one's realization of emptiness develops, this has an impact on our realizations of love and compassion as well. And this is because our ignorance of self-grasping, this is growing ever weaker. And as this grows weaker, mind such as the self-cherishing mind, this grows weaker. Our love and compassion for others grows stronger, and thereby our other cherishing mind grows stronger. And these minds then, love and compassion and other cherishing mind, as they grow more powerful, more intense within us, these minds are aided by our ever-developing realization or understanding of the emptiness of inherent existence, in that we are coming to see that through this wisdom that we are developing, liberation from suffering is approaching for ourselves. And we come to understand experientially what is keeping us bound in cyclic existence and what is keeping others bound in cyclic existence. That understanding leads to ever greater love and compassion arising, as well as confidence that through sharing skillfully this wisdom that we are developing, others too will be able to train in the same way that we are training, and all the great teachers in the past have trained, and they will then also be able to become freed of suffering. So in this way, our wisdom, our developing wisdom, aids our development of love and compassion and the other cherishing mind.
이게 동반이 된진 저와 주와 삼다제 동반이 또바이나 동인 또비 토네 아 저기 현례 진비 냠는 제베이나다 다 추tum 냠는 가래 제베이네 다 지금 저 진비 냠는 제바 샤샤바이나 니 진바 땅비기 진바 땅엔 가사디야 네 라시 마주바레 삼다야다 진보 또 유디야 라시 마주바레 삼다야다 된 진바다에게 제대야 라시 마주바 삼다지 제상고 돈이 또 사와제 차상 안에 라시 마주바레 삼다지 진바다 와있나 제자 디니기 진비 개와티 안에 저 데메 덴바 마주바도 르 지신비 토네 진바다 와자 데니기 진비 개와티 아니 개와 신뢰 초도 규바레스 이야가 차고레스 제자 개와 신뢰 초도 규바
개와
신뢰 야가레스 개와신 돈이 예산 돈이 마도 한 가사기 다 진비 냠면 제와티다 돈이 또체 코섬 니그 송과 덴바 마두바 삼다제 진비 냠면 제바네 디 개와니 보디 수야그레스네 안 돈이 또네 삼다미 개와다 진비 냠면 제야디 개와디 네 개와 초레스 제가 되니기 안데야 안에 공어 자주 심기 심비 토네 제바이나 다 타도 산요고 하도 유체고레스 제가 되니 인자 안에 초게 되와 토야게 유 세대 초에 대화디야 산지고 바샤 디 토야게 유 나나메 바사고레스네 온두스체네 엔데와치나 지금
as one's wisdom realizing emptiness, the emptiness of inherent existence, as this grows through repeated reflection on dependence arising and coming to where one's understanding or realization of dependent arising becomes ever more profound. This then has an impact, a pervasive impact on us, in that every mind becomes infused with this wisdom. And so we've heard about how we are less likely to come under the influence of afflictions and therefore create less negative karma. But moreover, our virtuous minds too become infused with this wisdom. And so whether it's a virtuous mind of generosity or ethical conduct or any of our virtuous minds, this wisdom realizing emptiness of inherent existence that we are cultivating through our meditation on dependence arising, that wisdom aids all of these virtuous minds. So for example, if we take the practice of generosity, when one's meditating on generosity or even engaging in a generous act, one will have this wisdom present, reminding ourselves that the person who is engaging in the act of generosity, as well as the person who is being aided, sentient beings lack inherent existence, are empty, are selfless, that no sentient being exists inherently. Moreover, the action of generosity, so the mind of generosity, this mind, it may appear it appears as being inherently existent, but it is not inherently existent. It too is a dependent arising. And then the object, or this perhaps a substance, perhaps the way one is aiding or what one is aiding with, this too is empty of inherent existence. So all three aspects, the being, the action, the object or the substance, these three, the agent, action, object, are empty of inherent existence. So in this way, our wisdom is combined with the virtuous act of generosity, and this serves to massively amplify the virtue that is being created, in that the minds are ever more powerful.
동이 마도바 이네 딘지 저 상계 좀는 유중 차상 퇴바 제시 안 퇴섬 냠는지 동이 또바 이나다 아니 사유고와 토발라 타냐 줘야 돼 뱀마시 타냐 주고래 셰화요 말했어 그시 딘진 저 주미게 상계 송리야 직중 직리야가 저 퇴섬 제제 딘진 저 주도 동이 세대 간르제스 제바라 제제 동이 마도바 이나야 동이래 제바라 제냐 저 삼무 다바 이나 대점이야 선은 봐도면 봐서야 대점이 산지고바 토야래 타냐 주고래 시래 그래서 디로 인자 가서 동이래 제바 동이 마도 봐이네 동이래 제바 제도 동이 도야래 타냐 주고 봐 지금 동이 도라 타냐 주고나 산지고바도 봐라 타냐 주고 지금 월지점이 녜예 봐시든 동이기 제바 제제 다 동이 세대 체명에 많이 오다 동이 되는지 윤사가 선비게 도화로 세네 되니기 뜻지 저기 가철 파 동이기 삼다제도 제발 제비네 안 디즘기 안에 선은 바통이 봐서기래 제가 산지고만 도발라 타냐 주고레스 조비 김자 가라나 제바제도 동이 도야라 제바제도 진짜 라신기 주바세지 열야 괜토야랴 타냐를 주고로 봐 디네자 월치점이 또 체명해봐 많이 봐네 되니기 인사를 선비게 태좀으로 제바지 동일에 태좀 사와다 동이 이주점이 또봐 이나야 아니 산유고바 토야라 타냐 루고를 했어야죠 이주 근데 체명해봐
그것은 So let's look back at these middle two lines, the second and third line, and then relate this to add further to the question this written question that was received, that I answered at the beginning of this talk. So those of us here, we are yet to have a direct realization of emptiness, but everyone here has received teachings on emptiness, some many, some a few, some in between. But as we continue to receive many teachings on the Buddha Dharma in general and on emptiness in particular, through this ever-gaining knowledge, as well as the experience that we gain through reflecting on these teachings, then certainty will grow in the effectiveness of the Buddha Dharma and the validity of the path of the Buddha Dharma. In other words, that Buddhahood itself is possible. The achievement of Buddhahood itself is possible. And any doubt about the validity of even ordinary suffering beings such as ourselves achieving enlightenment, any doubt about that will be eliminated based on our experience that's come from knowledge. So what I'm expressing here is particularly relevant to us ordinary people whose minds are still are dominated by the delusions. So those of us, we haven't realized emptiness, but through reflecting on the emptiness of inherent existence through this presentation on dependent arising, have no doubt that there is incomparable benefit to doing so, or immeasurable benefit to doing so. Because in the same way that when one does gain an actual realization of emptiness, one gains certainty that Buddhahood is possible, as one's understanding and realization of emptiness grows, first the intellectual understanding and then the accompanying experience of emptiness, as this grows, we gain confidence and certainty that we can actually realize emptiness. It's not something beyond us, it's not something that only the great and good, those over there, have any possibility of achieving. We ourselves can do this too. So this certainty comes about through receiving a vast array of teachings on emptiness and other topics, and then reflecting on these repeatedly, both on a meditation cushion, and then keeping these in mind, like we heard last night, during our daily activities. And in this way, before we give rise to a mind called a valid cognizer, we will give rise to a mind, a different mind, a mind called a correct assumption. So this correct assumption then is a wisdom or a realization based on valid reasons. And this then is the most initial, perhaps we can say, the most initial realization of emptiness. This will later be followed by the inferential valid cognizer, which in itself is later followed by the direct valid cognizer. But for ourselves, those are still a little way away. But the preceding step of a mind called a correct assumption, that is achievable.
동료 도시 냠는 제발에다 산조고 토야라 타녀는 주고르디 동료 또 마토고 있네야 동료를 제발 동료를 제발 딘디게 남자 퇴 디도나래 안에야도 삼당 나와 있나 안 대삼기야 동이 가사야 산조고 토발라 타녀 주고래 디네자 먼저 동이 딘디게 남샤야 산조 송샤베 될이야 안에 퇴삼 퇴바지야디 계침보래 딘 퇴베 된데라 야네야도 삼매 제바지와데 계침보래 숨고르다.
The advice that Rinpoche is giving to us here is to encourage us that the afflictive minds can be abandoned, which means suffering can be brought to an end. And that the only way to do this is to cultivate or develop the contrary mind, the wisdom realizing the emptiness of inherent existence. And this is best done through the presentation we've been receiving on dependent arising. And for those of us here hearing these teachings, we aren't greatly realized or knowledgeable. Yet for us too, reflecting based on this knowledge that we have, will have profound benefit. So whatever knowledge that we have acquired through this one weekend of teaching, or the teachings that we've maybe attended over the course of this year, whatever varying knowledge we have, reflect on this. Do so repeatedly over a sustained period. And reflection here means investigate, use our critical analysis, our intelligence, and analyze and investigate in the way that has been explained. And if we do so repeatedly over a sustained period, then it is certain that for all of us, profound change will follow.
타바 토고 고래 제산디니 인자 안주기다 니네 닌데랑아서 삼다야디 나 쇼베네가 삼다야디 신당보호란이야 맨 지금 건조 숨이야 잠조 제디 계침부 차고 건조 숨이야 근데 지금 타달을 깨비 니바디 건조 숨이 여러 건조 깨부리 샘피기 이시셔야 돼 이시 템보라 제다 아니 데네시네 니바디랑 안주기다 소수게 라마 야 아니 지금 Chu Tinga Lama de Pemasi, Yechimotan, Sachimu Shures, and Sanyu Jumnendi, Sun Shabada, Mo Yemere, Chita Sanyu Jumnendelia, and the Devatan, and Chiki Devachia. And then Nibatilia, and I didn't answer Tenju Milurimoche, top to go Yidi Kabla, then he didn't church imagine that Tamea, Sempichi, Sempig, some daddy, Chizat. Geshe Chagore, Sanji Goba Matu Gibadu, and then I Chin Yamne Yabo Chagoza, the names are that Tenju Milu top to you. Chima in the young Nichiki Milu, Tenju Milu top chair, De Telia, and Chiki Yamne Chikins and big some daddy, just like Yawa Chima, Lada Muko Toblaya, Tobra Chikins and big some Titobia Gigu, and then Jimba the Chudmlos or busy share. And then that the nigger Sapa de Lada. 제 코와 딜레 라션 참아 아니 대화 되바데 민디바 지바데 지정 코와 딜레 마르는데 탑면도 코위에 누가 될라 코위게 야 삼간했잖아요 귀엔지마도 지 강아 장야 레샤스 간에 삼다면 지정 코와 딜레만 누가 레샤스다 누가 딜레다 타고도 셈비기 한 코와레 탈비게 타바세드 마도도 지금 미누스 배 삼마다 니종으로 삼다야 차거로와 And the needs are the Rajan Samako Tago, but the Rang said, Chiri, Shansom Jet, the Pem, the Simjan Tayaba Chiri, Shansom Jet, Rangi, and the Ma, Pa, Mangu Yunyo, and the Rana Chin Chembore, Chesa, Sosugi, Padama, Machibi Cabinea, and Shansom Jet, the Ranja, Pem, the Chin Chemboresha, as in Bedango, the nigger sometimes Jinchimbi, Yimbi, Gumse, sometimes, Tenji in Namsha, some died, Kasashubana, Tenji Rawa, some died, how would Rajiza, Tenji, some died, Jinchimba, some died, that the nigger sometimes do, that Mashi Jinjin, Chagorwa, Jeza Dini in Zada, Rana Jinchimbo Inza, Sula getting him the pilot, Pempaji Marupin, Jinlenji Majon, the Tapminus, Jelle, Simjele Pempa Dugins, and some Taidida, Jin saw, Chagora. Jizada Simjela, the Yudu de Karelana, Simjela Queri, Dewa and the Tunga Chakwachi, there's a Simja Tamji, Dewa and Dana, somebody Dewa Temple Show, some and Jamba some town. Then Simjan Dewa and Dembala, Dunga the Madana, Dewa the Dam, Sheza, Dunga in that Duresha, Simjan Dunga the Tower Show, Saji, and the Nigi Nijira, some Dairoa, and the Jela, and the Gassam Towers, Sheza. Dunga di Ganes yung Dewa di and Ganes Dengu Wore Labu, da Dewi Yu Jimba the Chujun Zebe Yamin Jene and Dewa Den Dewa Gusa Modo Dewi Gumasa Bala, Dewa Mares and Tenjik Namsha Samta. Chizan Dunga di Gena, Dunga di Yuganis League to Labna, Chizan you, that leda Yomoba, doesn't Maripa League to us. Chizan da doesn't Maripa. Pangoya Pangu to Stipambala, Garchivore Lamne, Don you do Hosin, Denny Namsha some daji, Tombani some diary. Chisa Dini Hagotat, Denigita, Simjan Tamje, Rashin, Druba, Sympathy, Pantudu, Chesa Pang, two anza, Simjan Tamji digging a degree, Simjan Tamji do not in a say, Simjan Tamjelia Che, Danger, Yamlin Jeju, and then Dongi Namsha Gomjuja, Ni Consulate Che, Danger, Contu do not in a say, Sebe, that Hasan Namdasen. Some died Chagrua. She's not the nigger so sugi Simjan Tamji do not treat Dongi Namsha Tien, treat them, Passion to Yamlin Jeju, and the Duma Sawala, and the Sosu Shingu, Sosu Yamlin Tashin Bachu, just not so Tamachin, Alia Nubat in the Mindu Dianzangi, Simjan Tamji Dondalia, San Yugo Pamatum, Taminu, Sembigi, San Yugo Topor Show, said they, Janshu Sem Gomiache. Then Sanjugoban Toba show some Samji, Sanjugoban Top to a Mevere, Deninza, Sanjugoban Tobala, Toy Gudi Garelan, Jimbe, the Jimbe Yamencia, Chudum Yamencia, the Pajo could do in Yamencia, Zandi Yamenci, and Be Tamjasha. She's not that Pajan doing Yamencia, Kasashuba Najing of the Jimbe Yamenci Cable, Dendi Namja Samta, Jimbe Yamencia, Dendi Namja Samta, Chudum Yamencia, and the Kasashuba Najin, no do shady. And Nidia and Chige, Nimichilia, Sar Kazera, Chikora, Yamlenchi, some Tantuna, some died, Downborn of the Lalan died, Jimotubane, Dambo similar, Dini Jando share the Kitchenmore. Is that Manzuki, Shavro Chago, and Mata Melia, Jandora Shuchorua, Jandor, Chizan, Dini, Jando Shu Jeje, and Penny later time the Tapcho Chagro, Chizan, Dini, Jando Chena, and then Tavia Dumdivo Chago, Tinajang to similar to Jandor Che, and to Luma Yusum Gita, Lu Roger Kare in a Shella Pembet and Tangi, Sampiki, Samata, the Jandor Chia. The name Jimbe Yamla, Ya Luma Yusum Geza Chasan, Ya control the Pugin in Sampiki, and the Nigga Samlia Jandor Chia. Then Luma Yusum Yokonation, Nube Jawa Jigme, Sampika Samla Jandor Chia. She's named Zanga Tenji Namsha, called Neva Chena. Garu Yungure, Machevan, the Pando Kan Yungure, Chikasanga Chiki Shiro, on Dina, do some daje. Dangazuki Indian, the name Chando Shadi, Yechimo Chagora, the name that Dendi Namja, do some daje. Sangazu Dakasada, didn't give Shubet, didn't show Shuba Nashin, some died Direshada.
So let's now summarize what we've looked at in these three talks this weekend. So all of us sitting here, myself and yourselves, as well as everyone outside of this teaching hall, are the same on the deeper levels in that we all only want to experience happiness. None of us wants to experience even the slightest of problems or difficulties. we all long to attain a state that is liberated from suffering. So we are the same in this way. So we use this as our starting point then to engage in our meditation, because everything the Buddha taught was to fulfill this innermost wish of ours, this heartfelt wish to experience only lasting happiness. So the meditation starts with the first point of refuge. And we start with refuge because we want to generate strength of mind and joy to engage in this meditation. So we turn our mind to the three jewels to remind ourselves of the purpose of doing this meditation, that this meditation has the potential to transform our lives and through us transform the lives of all others. And we do this at the beginning so as to generate the strength of mind, to have mental energy to engage in this meditation. So it's not just a mere recitation of words or putting in the time, but knowing for ourselves with conviction, with trust, that the Buddha Dharma is infallible, and through doing this process, we will train our way of thinking, transform our way of thinking. So we go for refuge to the three jewels, as well as to our teacher, reminding ourselves of the preciousness of this relationship we have with our spiritual teacher who teaches us the Buddha Dharma in a way that is unmistaken and faultless. And then this too serves to generate joy in our mind. We remind ourselves here that we are able to engage in this meditation in dependence on the kindness of our teacher, in dependence on the kindness of his teachers, in dependence on that entire lineage back to the Buddha and all the beings in between. So here we're using dependence arising right at the start of this meditation. And the second part of this first step of the 4 steps is to remind ourselves of the great value of this life we have, this precious human rebirth, and how truly fortunate we are. And the purpose of this meditation, of the second step on the first part, is to again generate joy and strength within us to engage in this meditation, to generate the thought that I will not let a moment of this opportunity go to waste. This opportunity that I have now to meditate, this is impermanent and will end. I only have achieved this in dependence on a number of causes. When those causes are exhausted, this opportunity will end. And then my day will begin and I will need to go on with my various activities. But so too, this opportunity that comes with this life was also attained in dependence on causes. When those causes are exhausted, the opportunity that comes with this precious human rebirth will cease. Therefore, I need to ensure that everything I do is geared to ensuring I continue to create virtuous causes, so I have good rebirth in life after life. So therefore I must today engage in activities such as ethical conduct, generosity, and so forth, accumulating. So in dependence on these causes I accumulate, a result will follow in future lives. So this first part of the meditation of refuge and precious human rebirth, we now conjoin with our understanding of dependence arising. In the second level of the meditation, I'll just mention briefly, the purpose then of the second meditation, the second step of the meditation, now that we've given great strength and joy to us, is to give rise to the mind of definite emergence, the mind that wants to definitely emerge from the sufferings of samsara, or to express it differently, the mind that wants to renounce the sufferings of samsara. So this meditation in brief is to reflect on how suffering pervades cyclic existence. There is no state of lasting happiness. Whatever we achieve within samsara, this is bound to degenerate and end. It's a dependent arising that has come about in dependence on contaminated karma. It will end, and it will not fulfill our innermost wishes. But moreover, so here we reflect on suffering, then we reflect on the origin of suffering, and do this through our understanding of dependent arising, that this can cease because it is a dependent arising. because the origin of suffering is a dependent arising, through cultivating the opposing causes, suffering can cease. And those opposing causes are developed through the cultivation of the path. Through cultivating the path, we develop the causes that will lead to liberation. So here, we're meditating on the Four Noble Truths to give rise to the mind of definite emergence, and we do so at each step by recalling dependent arising. That's the second step of the meditation. The third step is then to generate bodhicitta. So that here again, every step we use our understanding of dependent arising, reminding ourselves of the close relationship that we have with all beings. We have a mother of this life, in dependence on her we were born into this world. We've had parents in all our previous lives. And we can reflect then on this interconnected relationship we have with all beings, this dependency. Moreover, they have shown us tremendous kindness, whether it's explicitly or indirectly, perhaps even unknowingly through going through their own activities. They have shown us kindness. In that all our good qualities, whether they're our outer resources or our inner good qualities, these are dependent arisings. They've come about in dependence on many causes, including our own efforts, but certainly in dependence on the kindness of others. So here we can reflect on the kindness of others through our understanding of dependent arising, being aware of the kindness of, maybe we can say the holy beings such as our teachers and the Buddhas, as well as ordinary beings, beings ordinary like us. All beings show us kindness explicitly and indirectly. In dependence on this meditation on the kindness of others, the wish to repay that kindness will naturally arise within us, in that we know from our own experience when people are kind to us, especially when we unexpectedly receive the kindness of others, we naturally want to repay that kindness. So we reflect on the kindness of others so that in dependence on that, the wish to repay that kindness arises. And thereafter the reflection progresses to how to repay that kindness. What is it that others truly want? Whilst others have many ordinary needs, what beings truly want is happiness. And here we generate the wish, may all beings experience only happiness. And how is it that beings come about to experience happiness? Independent on accumulating the causes of happiness, independent on engaging in virtue, happiness will be experienced. So here, this fifth step of love, we're using our understanding of dependency, generating the wish, may all beings experience happiness through living an ethical life, through living a life of bringing benefit to others and not harming others, and intentionally striving to benefit others and not harm others, etc. So we use our understanding of dependency here to generate love. And then, in order for beings to experience happiness, they have to be freed of suffering, because suffering, of course, impedes the experience of happiness. And suffering, the experience of suffering is a result. It's a dependency. It's a result that comes about in dependence on afflicted minds, contaminated karma with the root of ignorance. So here we generate the wish, may all beings be freed of suffering. May they be freed of the afflicted minds that lead to the accumulation of further karma. May they be freed of the cause of their afflicted minds, the ignorance of self-grasping. So here again, we're utilizing our meditation, our understanding of dependent arising in the meditation on compassion. Then, with independence on the arisal of love and compassion, especially when it arises in us in a way that's overwhelming, then the next mind will result from this, the mind of special intention, or the mind of the altruistic attitude of universal responsibility, where we take responsibility for the welfare of others. We willingly take on the welfare of others in the sense that we see it as our responsibility that each and every sentient being achieves a state of lasting happiness freed from suffering. And how is this then brought about? So the arisal of this mind of special intention within us, this is a result. It's come about independent on these preceding causes. The fulfillment of this mind, this is too a dependent arising, because we think to ourselves, In the same way that I'm accumulating ever greater causes for happiness and reducing and experiencing far less suffering, others need to train in exactly the same way. They need to be taught, just like I've been taught, what are the minds to adopt and what are the minds to abandon. And this then gives rise to the wish to develop ourselves spiritually ever further, and the wish to strive to become the most skilled of guides so that we can communicate with this wide array of beings in accordance with their individual dispositions and inclinations. And here we give rise to the sincere aspiration to strive single-pointedly to become a Buddha for the sake of others. And this is where we generate bodhicitta, and we culminate this third step. The fourth step in the meditation is that so in order to become a Buddha, this mere wish, even though it's bodhicitta, this mere wish on its own will not lead to Buddhahood. One has to engage in the 6 perfections of generosity, ethical conduct, patience, joyous perseverance, concentration, and wisdom. And here one can engage in a meditation on the 6 perfections, as we heard previously, infusing each of these with our understanding of dependent arising. So that is the meditation that I encourage you to engage in each morning, and there are different ways you can do this. We have now briefly gone through each point, and you can do it like that, or you can go through each point more briefly than I've mentioned now, but spend more time on one of the points, and thereby gain a stronger familiarity with one point, but still cover briefly all the other points. So in other words, one can do these 4 points quickly, or the similar length of time with each, or one can do them very quickly, but with more time spent on one of the points, as one wishes. The purpose of what we're trying to do here is train our mind. This is what we're trying to do. Whichever point you're emphasizing, or if we're doing them all equally, we're trying to train our mind in these points. So just like we mentioned last night, someone who has the aspiration to become a world-class athlete or a world-class dancer, when they start out, they just embarrass themselves. They're not great athletes or great performers, but through training with commitment over a sustained period, their ability is transformed. And that's what we're setting out here. So it's my wish, it's my sincerest wish that everyone repeatedly engages in this meditation and does so over a sustained period, and does these meditations, infusing them with our understanding of dependent arising, and as we heard last night, then taking this understanding of dependent arising and recalling it repeatedly throughout our various activities in the day, and in this way our familiarity, our training in, our habituation to the wisdom of dependent arising will grow that much more quickly. So just before we finish then, just to come back to Alan's question from this morning, because the translator is now able to understand what the teacher said. So let's see. Let me think of the question. Okay, so is the so Ken and I discussed this on the way up, and then up there in the kitchen. So we've discussed it a lot. So what he said was the following. So the obscuration to liberation is the consciousness or the mind that is the ignorance of self-grasping. The obscuration to omniscience is not a mind, it's a non-associated composite or non-associated compositional factor. So the obscuration to liberation is a consciousness, the obscuration to omniscience is not, it's a non-associated compositional factor. And what is this obscuration to omniscience then? It is the factor of the illusory appearance of inherent existence. I will say it again, it's the factor of the illusory appearance of inherent existence. So this is the obscuration to omniscience. It is not a mind, it's a non-associated composite, and in its name in full is a factor of the illusory appearance of inherent existence. So it's, if you leave out the word factor, it still clear enough. It's the illusory appearance of inherent existence. That is the obscuration to omniscience. Okay. Okay, then thank you very much.